Someone's asked me a question there. Is space exploration the telos of the white man, and should it be the animating spirit of white racialism? This is to do with my speech that I gave at Erkenbrand, and some people objected to it. I'm right, okay, I'm going to do a video in which I address the various complaints that people had, or the objections that some people had to that speech.
So you went full Spencer and said that, you know, our future is in the stars and all that kind of stuff?
Yes, because Good. I don't think, well, I mean, it was both, you know, and I outlined that, I really emphasized that in the speech, but some people found it wild and, you know, too out there that I was talking about space exploration, when I think that's crazy because we've been doing it for 50 years, or more than that. So it's not something that is far out and crazy. Also, I think it is essential, as you said in your NPI speech last year, the white man has something to build and conquer and dream for, and so on. Something that, and it has to be, you know, the more extreme it is, the better.
Yeah.
Now that does not mean a lack of home. It just means that he wants to more than home. The white man needs more than that.
Yeah.
And also the reason I brought this up in this particular speech was that you can't offer people mere safety and survival. There has to be a reason for them to survive. And as for safety, everyone wants safety, but that's not enough. And you certainly can't limit the white man to safety, right? That does not suit him. So that is why I made a big thing about space and that kind of thing in that speech, because we have to be thinking about the future and the long term. And it's ridiculous to say that the thing we should be aiming for is safety. That obviously that's what we want in the next 100 years.
Yeah.
But what is the long-term point of that? It's not just so that we can continue to have safety 1,000 years from now, 2,000 years from now, and so on. There has to be something else. Now, space exploration is just one thing, right? There's everything else. There's philosophical, artistic, cultural exploration as well, and scientific. And these are all forms of conquest, as I said in the speech. So yeah, of course, those are true as well and valuable as well. So that's what I would say to that question.
Yeah, I would counter signal Varg a bit. I think Varg did a video that I saw this past week. I think he'll often create straw men, and he basically said that he falsely believes that space exploration is impossible due to radiation belts. That, I mean, look, I am not an astrophysician, a physicist. I am not a space explorer myself, but that has been debunked. But his more moral and philosophical critique of space exploration was that we want to just use up this planet and our desire to be consuming idiots, and then we'll just move on to Mars and destroy that, and then move on to another solar system next. I think that's a valid criticism, and I do think we need a sense of home. But I think in a way, Varg is not understanding the Aryan spirit in saying something like that.
I agree. I agree that, and people keep, like, from the questions on the Ask FM of Vikernes, answer them because I just can't. Is it frozen again?
No, you're good now.
God.
Oh no, I think you've muted yourself. Yeah, you've muted yourself. Okay.
Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Sorry,
yeah, back now.
Again. Right. So I keep getting questions. What do you think of Varg Vikernes? And I don't answer them on. This is on Ask FM because I don't know that much about the guy. Now the other day he put up this video, and just for the sake of it, I was in the middle of a very busy day. I had to make 3 videos that day in order to keep up with the schedule, and so. But just for the sake of it, I made a comment underneath it. I said, you don't seem to know much about the alt-right. And that was it. I wasn't intending to start a debate or a discussion. But then he latched onto it and became obsessed with trying to get me into this argument so that he could win. And he kept saying, you don't have any answers because you know I'm right. And all this. Well, here's what I would say off the cuff. And because people keep saying to me, when are you going to make a video response to his, whatever. And I don't want to make a video response because I'm not interested in creating bitch fights. And whether we agree with Varg or not, whether I agree with him or not, he is part of the same milieu as I am.
Yeah.
And I don't really care.
I'm glad Varg is out there. I like a lot of his videos.
Yeah, he does make good stuff. I'm not going to deny that. But I have no desire to create an argument with them. And but what I would say is that I think he does indeed, as you said, he misunderstands this idea of just hiding away. I think is innately, it's a betrayal of who and what he is, basically, and what we all are. And I'm not talking about getting political parties into government. Maybe that will happen, maybe it won't. What I'm concerned with is creating a culture, so that, because then that will create options for us. Some of us will go into the countryside like him. Some of us will try to go into politics. Some of us will stay in the cities and organize. Who knows? But that's not my concern. And so I think he's just a bit too eager for bitch fights and gotchas. That's what I would say about Varg.
Yeah, I think also his real quick. I think that his description of the alt-right was almost this. It was almost like Hillary's description of it, or it was a 2016 of the alt-right is about capitalism and Trump and all that kind of stuff. I think that's what the alt-right is. I think the alt-right effectively is a cheerleading squad for Donald Trump. But the alt-right, as it's developed, has become a much more identitarian ideology. It's deeply critical of Trump. It's deeply critical of capitalism. It's deeply critical of Americanism. It's kind of that 2016 cheerleading for MAGA was in a way an exception and not the rule.
Yeah, that was just a means to an end.
Exactly. Anyway, let me answer a couple of these. These are some of the best ones in the chat.